This is Dianne Andrews in Black and White. The issues you don't want to talk about. The arts and entertainment you need to know. And now here's your host, Dianne Andrews.
Welcome to Dianne Andrews in Black and White, and I'm your host, Dianne Andrews. Thank you for tuning in to us, whether you're watching us through your DVR, or whether you're watching us live on TV, or whether you're watching us on YouTube. We appreciate all the YouTube. We've got some people in Australia, Japan, all over who are watching us on YouTube. We appreciate your viewership, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're also on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. So continue to follow us on social media also. I was thinking and looking at what new shows can I start. So I wanted to start a series, because if you look at us on YouTube, they're selected in a series. You can go through and watch everything on ISIS, or everything on Do Black, White, Blue Lives Matter, or everything on Finding a Purpose. So I'm starting something today on entrepreneurship. In America, there are 29 million small businesses, which means less than 500. There are 18,500 large businesses, 500 or over employees. And that's not many for a country with 375 million people. As we know, over the years, larger businesses have been shrinking, and there's more growth in the small business enterprises. That's why today we're going to explain to you the business structure to be profitable, the best how you can hide some tax money, the best to hide tax money. And I have a CPA with us, Bert Falk, who is my CPA and is a partner in the third largest CPA firm in the city of Baton Rouge. Bert has been with us before. He is a prostate cancer survivor, and he was on a show. If you want to watch it on YouTube, I think it's episode 9 or 10. We've got about 52 episodes out there now, but he explains to you gentlemen and to you wives to push your husband to get testing for prostate cancer. To my right, I have a homeboy of mine, I call him, from northern Louisiana, but he flew in here the other day from Seattle just to be on Dianne Andrews in Black and White. We appreciate you being here, Herman. Herman lives in Seattle now, as I had said. He left Oak Ridge. We've got all these little towns up in North Louisiana: Oak Ridge, Bastrop, Marouge, Bonita, Gallion, you name it, all with about 100 people. So he left high school and he moved to Seattle, Washington. And there he became an expert in welding and sheet metal. He took 7 years, and it's like a PhD in welding of education. He has really a PhD in welding. He's done very well for himself. He was at Lockheed for several years, and he went on to the University of Washington, where the last 10 years of his 32-year tenure, he was a project manager with 50 people working for him with a $20 million budget. But after that, he decided, I want another business. He had been playing with chocolates and brittle candy that he learned from his aunt.
From my aunt, yes.
So tell us the story of how you got into, let me have one of those, your Lanier chocolates.
Okay.
And I'm going to tell you, they are delicious.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. I was given a family recipe in the early 70s, about 1972. My aunt was visiting in town, and after work one evening, I stopped by.
Up in Seattle. You were down
yes.
in Louisiana.
Up in Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
And so I stopped by after work, and she was making the candy.
Yeah.
And so I asked her for the recipe. She gave me the recipe, and it took me about 5-10 years to put my little twist to it.
She probably didn't really know how much, a little of this and a little of that, and a lot of that. Is that how she did the recipe?
Just feel.
Yeah.
She just did fulfill.
She didn't
no
measure
recipe.
anything.
Didn't measure anything.
Right.
And so when I started making it, it was gummy. You could play basketball with it, do a whole lot of things. But
she thought it was great, huh?
Well, hers was fantastic.
Okay.
But
when
I first started, it was gummy. You couldn't chew it.
And how many years ago was that, Herman?
That was over 40 years ago.
When you first started?
When I first started. And so it took me about 5 or 10 years to put my twist to it. The family can't do what I do. It's totally different. Our brittle is softer than the average candy maker. Right. We use more nuts.
I don't even like peanut brittle, but I mean, even the peanut, he does it in cashew, macadamia, peanut, pecan brittle, pistachio.
Yeah, this is our bestseller. The pistachio.
Is this pistachio here?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna eat a piece. Which I have it at a I've given it to some people at another business, and they just can't stop getting enough. In fact, he does mail orders, so we're going to order some for all our employees and stuff for Christmas.
Okay, well, thank you. Yeah, you can go to our website, lanier'sfinecandy.com.
It's wonderful.
And check out our website.
I don't even like dark chocolate. This is pistachio brittle. And who's ever seen a brittle dipped in chocolate? And you went back to school and learned how to make chocolate,
Right.
didn't you?
Yes, I went back. I took some chocolate classes because I always had an idea. I wanted the pecan brittle to be the premium candy, and so one afternoon I went over to a store called Bartell's, and they had a sale on some chocolate chips, which is the cheapest chocolate you can buy. I purchased the chocolate chips, went home, melted it in the microwave. I took a butter knife and spread it on the candy. It didn't work.
Right.
About a week later, I was in another store called Cash and Carry, and they had some chocolate coating for candy. I purchased that and dipped that chocolate, the candy in the chocolate, and it was off the chain. And so later I met a gentleman by the name of Bill Fredericks, a chocolate man, and took his few classes. He recommended the current chocolate we're using.
Well, that's what we wanted to show you when I first talked about it. You have young people starting businesses now because of the industries in America are shrinking, the large corporations. You have people young, but you have people starting a second career. And so I have brought in a CPA, a tax expert, again, the third largest in the city of Baton Rouge, Falk and Winkler, on Jefferson Highway, who is my CPAs, to talk to you all about what's the best for your tax structure. What would be the best for him?
Well, what you would recommend is that he form a limited liability company, more commonly known as an LLC.
That's what I have.
And in Louisiana, you do that for a number of reasons. One is you bypass the franchise tax that the state assesses on your invested capital if you're an LLC. The other reason is it eliminates the double taxation. You're not taxed as a corporation. All of the income comes to you, and you just pay the income tax at one layer.
Right.
Additionally, you're able with that to divide your income between salary, earned income, and what's purely profit. And the purely profit element escapes the payroll taxes. So, so you typically do that. Long term, you go with that structure as well, because if at some point in time you want to sell the business, it's just a lot easier to sell assets than to sell stock in a business. Most buyers, not most, really all buyers of a closely held company want to buy the assets because they want no exposure to any liabilities that might exist. That would particularly be the case with food product, where you don't know. Some claim may arise years later, and a purchaser just doesn't want to be exposed to that.
Yeah, because I've purchased some businesses before,
Sure.
and the assets. If an employee sues you, you're not responsible for any lawsuits or anybody suing you as well. You only want to buy the assets of the company, not the entire company, because you pull in that liability, right? Bert? Now, sole proprietorship, since he's only one person. But in that sole proprietorship, you're liable for all the taxes as a personal individual, right, Bert?
That is true. All of the income would flow to him and would be taxable
and if it's a
on his
lawsuit.
personal.
And if it's a lawsuit, it comes to you personally.
Right, exactly.
Well, not on an LLC. I mean,
No,
the
on
LLC.
a sole proprietorship, I was saying.
So yes, as to a sole proprietorship, that's right. He would not have the benefit of that shield.
That
and
shield, right,
you
exactly.
take even now with real estate, most people have a separate LLC for for each piece
property,
of real estate that they own.
Is that because
From
they're
a
afraid
li-
they're going to get sued?
Yes,
by-
it's just from a liability point of view. If somebody walks out of the front of your building, slips, and hurts themselves, their only recourse would be against that one LLC.
Right.
As long as it has only one piece of property. That's why you don't want three pieces of property in one LLC, because they could go after all three properties.
Okay.
So one property, one LLC.
And what about, you're in a partnership, why? You're a law firm, your CPA firm is a partnership. What's the difference?
In a partnership, probably the primary difference is that you're liable for the liabilities of the partnership. Now, technically, well, not technically, we are an LLC.
Oh,
now,
are you?
Yes,
Okay.
we are an LLC. We refer to ourselves as a partnership.
Right.
I think it's just a a common trait of service organizations. Partnership represents the ultimate status from a from a
you call
PowerPoint.
yourself partners and somebody's promoted to the partnership.
Yes.
But it's not a partnership.
No, it's not. We are an LLC. And
okay. Were you
frankly,
always an LLC, or were you a partnership?
No, we were a partnership. And when Louisiana implemented the LLC laws, that's when we converted to an LLC.
Most states, all states have
Yes.
LLC?
I've never run a survey, but yes. It's my understanding that all the states have gone to LLCs.
Now, is that similar to the old S Corp?
Well, there's a difference. The LLC is a state designation, or you comply with state laws to be an LLC. An S corporation is sort of the carryover of old terminology when only corporations could elect to be.
The big C.
Yes.
Like the IBMs, the Xerox,
yeah,
the big companies.
they could elect to be S corporations. But today, what happens is an LLC can elect to be taxed as a corporation, or as a partnership. As a partnership, it can elect to be an S corporation, which is an IRS designation. It has no legal ramifications relative to state law. It only applies to federal taxation.
So it's really about taxes.
It's about
taxes. It's really about knowing what structure you need for profitability, but also to shield you from liability. And how can I pay the government less taxes as possible for what I do?
That's right.
And that's probably what we're all trying to do. Pay the government as less possible as we can. Because America is the highest tax on corporations in the world.
That is my understanding.
Yeah, that's what I've been reading. And a lot of businesses have moved offshore, their main headquarters, because to eliminate some of that high liability. I mean, one of Trump's things is, okay, I'm going to bring those corporations back because I'm going to eliminate all that tax that they're paying.
But you know, the interesting things is you see the multinational companies moving from state to state. I mean, in order to get more favorable taxation, and that's why Texas now is the headquarters for so many entities, is because number one, they don't have individual income taxes, and secondly, they don't have per se a state corporate tax. So GE is one. They got some taxes levied in Connecticut, I think, where they're headquartered, and they're moving because of those taxes being applied. So while we think of that as a negative thing from an international perspective, we see our corporations moving from state to state all the time to get a more favorable taxation.
So yeah, it's negative with the state state income tax and the high corporate tax, and it's positive for that corporation. To me, I think you'd have more growth if you had less taxes.
Yes.
I guess I'm with Donald Trump on that. I'm with him on a lot of things. I think as I listen to some of my shows and look at what Donald Trump has been saying. So Louisiana has, the state we're in, we have an income tax and a corporate tax. Do you in Seattle, Washington?
No, we don't have income tax.
You don't have income tax?
No,
Okay.
not in the state. Not just
Now you're like Texas then.
Yes, they're about, I would say
Delaware
8.
used to not. A lot of people were moving to Delaware, their corporations. Are they?
Well, I think in the case of Delaware, there are a lot of advantages to corporations from a legal point of view in terms of being sued by minority shareholders, as I understand it. And it's just the laws there are more favorable to large corporations.
Yeah, because like what you were saying, a lot of people would start their business and have it in Delaware, even though maybe headquartered out of Virginia or somewhere, but they'd have it incorporated there.
The charter there. And they collect a lot of fees off of those charters too.
That's right.
Let me tell you.
For a small state like Delaware is. I know when I lived in Connecticut, they had no state income tax, personal state income tax, but they do now. They enacted, I think about 15 years ago. Because a lot of people liked Connecticut because it's a very expensive place to live, but you had no state income tax.
Right.
So now you have the state income tax, and it's still very expensive to live.
And apparently they recently raised it, which was the impetus for GE to relocate.
That's why they got out.
That's why they're leaving.
You do that, and you're going to lose so much. I don't know if politicians really pay attention.
They don't.
To what I'm going to lose if I try to gain this and I lose more.
Right.
But these are the people we elect.
Yes.
And that says something about us, doesn't it?
Yes.
We're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back with Dianne Andrews in Black and White. Come on back.
Order your copies now of Dianne Andrews' latest books, Third Man Out, a suspenseful mystery by Dianne Andrews, and Gumbo for the Heart, 25 stories of faith, hope, and charity, both available now on Amazon.com.
Thanks for coming back to Dianne Andrews in Black and White. You'll see that the set has changed a little and one guest has changed. We eliminated the CPA and we brought in Shan Brown, who is a spiritual advisor, who's going to be reading tarot cards for Herman's future, or telling what's going on right now. Maybe something will come up about the profitability of his Lanier candies.
Oh, well, I would love to do that. All right. You want me to start now?
Yeah, you can just start.
Okay.
I've had tarot done before. Herman has never had anything done with tarot cards before.
Okay, Herman, you need to shuffle these cards 3 or 4 times. Just mix them up good.
You may have some more people. I'm looking at the audience and how they're interested in some, you may can sell some readings today. Okay.
Okay. All right, and then take your left hand and cut one big pile from here to here.
Okay.
And then one more pile from here to there.
Can I ask you a question? You need to be concentrating as he does this.
You can ask.
How did tarot cards come about?
Oh my God, I don't know
Years
if I can do that now.
Oh, okay. Well, okay, I'll ask you after
Okay.
the show.
When is your birthday, day, and month?
August 12th.
Okay.
Now, Shan's been on the show before. She's out of New Orleans.
Okay, the first thing that I'm seeing here, it says that it's showing me a man who's very business-minded, very in control of his life, and I see some type of a partnership. I don't know if this is a marriage, a business partnership, but I see some type of a partnership coming up for you soon. It's like right on top of you. So I don't know if you're thinking about partnering with somebody else or you're thinking about starting a new marriage or relationship, but that's coming up right on top of you.
No partnership.
Okay, okay. And do you have a son?
Yes.
How old is he?
My son is 43.
Okay, all right. And do you have a grandson?
Yes.
How old is he?
I have 4 grandsons.
Is there one like in their teens or
Yeah.
late 20s?
I have one, my youngest grandson is 14,
Okay,
and my oldest grandson is 24.
okay. Might be the 24-year-old. I see you dealing with, it looks like a grandson, possibly in the next 6 weeks. I don't know what this is, but it looks like he could be very close to you or is going to want to be involved in something to do with your life. And I also see travel coming up for you very, very soon. Okay, when is the birthday? Do you know the birthdays of your grandsons? Because I keep seeing young men around you.
I know the birthdays of one, the other 3 no.
Okay. I don't know if one got in some trouble recently or he used to get in some type of trouble, but I see one turning his back on what could be a negative situation. Okay. And I don't know if there was drinking or something like that involved, but I see that he's going to get help. Okay. And the help looks like it's there for him, and I don't know if you're the one that's so supportive of him, but I see support around him and good things.
Okay.
I also feel like there is something that I see you feeling like maybe you're walking on eggshells with. And there could be someone that you are going to have to be giving advice to, and maybe they don't necessarily want to take it, but you're giving it to them anyway. And I feel like they will listen, and they need to listen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
I see more I see more traveling. You must travel a lot, do you?
Yes, I'll be flying to Oakland on the 5th of next month.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, the next thing I'm seeing here is there's, again, I see a man approaching you with some type of an offer, an opportunity, and it looks like there's legal papers that may be signed. So again, this may not be a partnership. This could just be somebody that wants to invest in something that you're doing or something like that. I see doors opening up for you. Again, starting, I feel like 2016 is going to be a really good year for you. And I'm seeing something about, I don't know if this is partying, celebration or something, but, and I don't know if this is an invitation, but I see you're kind of like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to go to that. And I feel like that's coming up really quick. But it says your first instinct is going to be, I don't want to do this, but it's also saying that it could be very lucrative and a very positive thing for you and to do it. Okay, what kind of questions do you have? How much time do we have?
When is it going to happen?
You got 6 more minutes.
Okay, what is going to happen?
When is it, these things are going to occur? You said pretty soon?
Actually, most of the readings that I do for people happen within the next couple of months. Sometimes they take a little bit longer. And then people that I read for a lot tell me, oh, everything you told me just happened in the last 2 weeks. So now I see a couple here, and it looks like they're married. Well, this could be you. This could be a Leo male. And I see a woman, and I don't know if this is a wife or a relative or a friend or a sister, but I see you kind of turning away from this woman a little bit. I don't know if you've had bad feelings or upset feelings with her, but I see some frustration. I see a little bit of heartache, but it looks like you're going to come out on top and something that you're going to claim is a victory. I also feel like there is some confusion, and you're going to have a very big decision to make. It's a choice between 2 things. It could go here or there, A or B. You're going to make the right decision because the Sun card is right there saying it's going to be cool, it's going to be fine, you're going to do the right thing.
All right, thank you.
Okay? All right, any specific questions about anything or anybody?
No, I don't think so, no.
Okay, all right.
What about the men, the boys that she mentioned?
The boys,
anything
one of my
worse?
grandsons, he's been in trouble since a teenager. He stays in trouble, 2 of my grandsons.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's, you're right on target there.
Okay,
And I
okay.
tried to be an influence in their life, but the world was more available for them. And, you know, tried to bring them on board in my business. They wished to work with me for a while, but it wasn't what they wanted to do.
Right.
Yeah.
So she was right on
Yeah,
with
right on,
that.
right on
about
with
the
that.
the boy
Yeah.
grandson.
But the relationship, the marriage or something like that, I'm married to my business.
That may be what she's
Yeah,
seeing.
yeah.
Maybe that's what. Maybe that's
Yeah.
why that relationship is right on top of you.
Yeah, I have a
because-
wife at home. I call her Little Lucy. I kiss her good night every night.
Okay.
That's my chocolate roll machine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, maybe that's what it is because that card of relationship is right on top of you. So.
Okay. Yeah.
But I still think somebody else is going to approach you with something, and you may not want it. You may not want to be bothered with it, but I see it
Any
coming.
partnerships in mind or anybody?
No,
think about joining with?
no. My goal is to leave a legacy for the family and not partnership.
Okay.
You know, for my kids.
But it could be something with
What
Yeah.
about
somebody-
what about one of your kids? Could you do
Yeah.
a partnership with one of them?
No.
No, you don't think
No,
so?
I don't
Okay.
think so. With the grandkids, it's possible. It's very possible. Yes. Yes.
When they become distributors, do you sign something?
Yes.
That may be what
Yes,
she's saying.
Okay.
He's going to use distributors to market
Yeah,
his
my
candy.
oldest daughter going to be a distributor in Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay.
For our products and yes.
Okay. Well, this was a man that I saw, but
Oh, interesting.
What about your
Yeah.
brother?
No.
Hank?
No, I don't think. No, Hank has his own, his restaurant.
Yeah.
So so he's independent with that.
Okay.
2 other partners. Yeah.
well, again, this is coming up, so you never
Yeah.
know.
You never know. Yeah. Maybe someone want to buy the business. Who knows?
There you go.
You wouldn't sell it.
No.
I don't think you would sell it. Yeah.
Yeah. So who knows?
All right.
Yeah.
Any more questions?
No.
Well, you're traveling back to Seattle tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah,
you're
well,
traveling
good.
to
The trip looks
California.
Trip looked good, yeah, because
she
I had
saw a lot of
it
travel.
took me I don't know almost 12 hours to fly from Louisiana to Baton Rouge. So hopefully
From Seattle
yeah.
to Baton Rouge.
Oh,
yeah.
wow, that's a
left
long
at
trip.
7 and arrived at 9 o'clock that evening. Yeah.
Oh, that's a
So
long
this trip is going to be better going back, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I feel like it's going to be fine.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
No
Well-
storms. Okay.
Shan, I know you've done a lot down in New Orleans. You're originally from Florida, but let's give the people your information
Okay.
in case someone wants to reach you. Do you do in-person and telephone readings,
Yes, I
correct?
do.
Okay. You want
Yes.
to tell them your number?
My telephone number is area code 504-231-8035. Again, 504-231-8035. And my email address is Shan Brown Nola. It's ShanBrownNola @gmail.com.
Okay, and as people in New Orleans, we're down in New Orleans now, which is where Shan is, so you can go by her home, call her up, I guess, and go by your home, make an appointment, yeah, and come by and get your reading. As you see, she was right on with him about the trouble with your children, and
exactly.
they had never seen each other or knew each other before. So, and Shan has read me before, and she does. You've been doing this how long, Shan?
Do I have to say?
No, no, you don't have to say. Us women don't like to say because then you can calculate age.
40 years. maybe.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
But how did you get into this? Just tell. You consider yourself more a spiritual advisor, so
Yes.
not a psychic, I guess. Or
No. But I used to
what's
have.
the difference between spiritual advisor and psychic?
Well, actually, it's basically the same thing. Psychics can sometimes just pick up things about your health or about what's going on in your life or things like that. I work with the cards, and the cards tell me kind of like what you need to know. And then I can advise people. A lot of people come to me for problems with their boyfriends or their wives or their jobs, and I can kind of advise them from what I see through here.
Do people call you back after and say, okay, yeah, you were right on?
Yeah. I mean, I have people that come to me all the time. They come, some people come once a month, some people come every 3 months, some people, it just depends on how much you have going on in your life.
So that's how you become the spiritual advisor, because you're
Yes.
guiding them through some
Yes.
issues they're having.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, yeah.
And has this been fulfilling for you, doing this?
Yeah,
your life?
actually, it has. It
Yeah.
has. I worked at a voodoo shop on Bourbon Street for almost 20 years, and I did all their
Is
spiritual
that the
work.
name of it, Voodoo Shop?
Marie Laveau's House of Voodoo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And I did a lot of readings there, and I've got quite a following after all those years, so
Yeah.
I stay pretty busy.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm trying to, and then you recently
Broke my leg.
laid up
Yeah.
a little bit. So I
Yeah.
appreciate you coming in from New Orleans.
Well, thank you for having me.
Thank you all for coming, and thank
Thank
you,
you
Herman.
for the
And
opportunity.
safe trip back to Washington.
Exactly.
And you all keep on watching Dianne Andrews in Black and White, and follow us on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and subscribe to our station on YouTube. Bye bye. Have a good one.
Again?